I'm Emery Aronson. I'm the Managing Director for Education at Robin Hood. Today, only about 40% of New York City public school students will graduate high school on time. Internationally, American students are behind other countries, particularly in terms of math education. With me today are two Robin Hood partners who rivet on these issues. Here is Joel Rose, the co-founder of New Classroom Innovation Partners, and Mike Bezos, one of his board members. Joel, tell us about New Classrooms. What exactly is it, and how did you end up with us at Robin Hood?
So New Classrooms is a nonprofit organization that's focused on showing that there's a better way of doing school. We have this model of school, which is one teacher and 30 kids in an 800 square foot room. And then once we assume that away, we start the conversation about how we improve schools. What we've done at New Classrooms is design a completely different way of organizing in the classrooms, ways that combine the talents of teachers and the benefits of technology in ways that enable personalized learning for every student every day. Now, we got to know Robin Hood a little bit when this was really a PowerPoint. When we got together and said, we think that there is a better way of doing school. I was currently working for Joel Klein at the New York City Department of Education at the time. And Robin Hood said, we think that it is time for real transformative innovation in K-12. And together, that's how we all got started.
So, Mike, how did you and your family get involved both in education and with working with Joel?
When we formed the foundation about 13 years ago, we came together and decided that education was our single focus. It's really the only thing that we do. So that's when we said, okay, Robin Hood, tell us what's around in the field of education, and you offered a tour to a New Classrooms school.
So we hear a lot about technology in the classroom, and so Joel, can you talk to us a little bit about how New Classrooms fits into this whole conversation about technology in the classroom and the world of education technology? And in talking about it, will you also talk to us about how has New Classrooms actually been successful at this work?
Sure. So you're right. There's a lot of talk about technology in the classroom. And what we see out there are really two very different approaches, two camps when we think about ed tech. The first camp is a camp that's focused on products. Let's buy more iPads or websites or tools that teachers can use if they choose to, which can have a beneficial impact on kids, but they're basically tools that get grafted on to the same one teacher and 30 kids in a box delivery model. And those are scalable today. The second camp, which I think we're squarely in, is the camp that's about reimagining the classroom itself. That says, let's not assume one teacher, 30 kids in a room in a standard scope and sequence and provide tools. Let's actually ask ourselves, if we could start over again, given all that we know about what teachers can do and what technology can do and what the research says, how would we reimagine the classroom itself and leverage the best of what all of those components, all those folks can actually do? And so that's where we are. And what we're seeing so far, let me explain a little bit about how our model works. Imagine you're a 7th grader, and you have reading first period in room 204, and you have PE second period in the gym. Third period, you have math. And instead of walking into room 105, we have knocked down the walls between rooms 105 and 110 to create a large open space. In that space, there are 12 or 13 different stations. In some stations, kids work with teachers. In some stations, kids work with software. In some stations, kids work collaboratively with one another on different kinds of projects. And in some stations, kids work with virtual tutors who are located anywhere around the world. And above each station is a sign. This is the Bronx Zoo, this is LaGuardia Airport. And so when you walk in for math, you see a big monitor that looks like the monitors you see at the airport. You see your name and you see which station you're supposed to go to. So you might spend the first 30 minutes working on Area of a Triangle with Mr. Smith. Then you hear some music play. You spend the next 30 minutes working on Area of a Triangle with some software. You hear some music play. The last 10 minutes, you take an online assessment in Area of a Triangle, and then you're off to social studies. That data from that assessment comes to our central office, and we create your schedule for the next day based on how you did the previous day. Students that we serve who would otherwise not make it to being algebra ready by the time they get out of 8th grade would be on a trajectory to be algebra ready. This year, the preliminary data from halfway through the year shows that students in Teach to 1 now, our model, are making 1.8 years of gains versus 1.2.
So Mike, why, we understand the emphasis on education and we agree with you completely, but why ed tech? Why something that embraces technology in it?
Well, I think that, the technology is available. And what New Classrooms has been able to do is to use that technology to assist the teachers in doing their job. And not all of us learn at the same pace. Not all of us are able to assimilate using the same mechanism. And that's what New Classroom does. It allows for different modalities, as they're called, to be the ones that the kids can reach out to on an individual basis.
And so our focus initially is on getting this right, on for once developing a model that can reliably work in partnership with teachers to deliver great outcomes for kids. So we want to make sure we get the R&D right. That is the real key right now to making sure that we can scale something that works well. Second, we've got to make sure that we're working in schools that embrace this kind of innovation, that are excited to be pioneers in what the future could hold. And third, we've got to make sure that our organization not only has the funding, but also has the talent, the capacity to really sort of drive growth.
I want to thank you both for joining us today. This has been just so helpful. And I remember, Joel, you used to do a talk about the history of education in the United States and really how it hasn't changed very much in 150 or 200 years. And what we see here is what that future should be. It is disruptive in absolutely the right ways of being disruptive. It changes the entire dynamic of teaching and learning so that I, as a student, or any student actually, is getting the type of education and is being taught the way that I learn best. So thank you both. Thank you for what you've done, and thank you for being such good partners to Robin Hood.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.